Hello, how are you, everybody? There's Scott disappearing again. Maybe I'll just delete Scott out of the.
I'm
Hey,
always
Scott,
late.
how are you?
Hi,
How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. And you?
I'm good, very well, thanks. You have a very full show tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, how was your week?
Oh, it was busy, very busy. Not. I had a lot of personal things going on, so I had a lot to do. So I haven't done much in terms of my channel, but I did release one video this week, the Maria Callas books. That we
Yeah,
can talk about that.
we'll talk about that in a second in the
Yeah,
new releases. I know that we've got Carl and Jim coming up any moment, and
great.
we've got a wonderful guest tonight, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Mm.
So let's have a look. First of all, we have some comments straight away, lots of them. Hey, Armin, how are you? Good to see.
Hi, Armin.
And of course, Jack is there. Hey, Jack, how are you?
Hi, Jack.
And Joey. Joey, I've got a great photograph I'm going to put up of you later on if you don't mind. Scott, of course, has given me ample comments. So Scott said he saw a historical video on YouTube of Charles Munch, the CSO. Munch, interesting. 63 in Berlioz's Royal Hunt in the Storm from La Troyenne. Excellent. Oh, Royal Hunt in the Storm, fantastic. Great trombone section. It's on every audition. It's amazing. Another one from Scott. For anyone who enjoys orchestral videos, I recommend Colin Davis's DVD of Berlioz's Dramatic Symphony, Romeo and Juliet, with the Bavarian Radio Symphony and Chorus. The scene d'amour will put you in a spell. Yeah, it's very, very good, but you got to go Munch with the Boston Symphony. And I've been doing it, reviewing it with the my new Akita step-up transformer, which just adds this sprinkling of fairy dust over it. It's incredible. And another one from Scott. Excuse me. If you like Mahler's Das Lied von der Erde, I do very much, you should hear Scholti's version from 72. The final Abschied with Von Minton is his best Mahler. The final brass chords are superb. It's very good. But unfortunately, Klemper and Bruno Walter recorded it and ruined it for everybody because this was so good. In fact, I think Klemper's is by far the best. Okay, so that's, we've got some other comments. Postal Playboy.
Hey.
Yeah, what was Postal Playboy's name? Matthew.
Matthew,
how are you? We've got Alan, and with his Alan, talking of Alan.
Alan.
Hello, everyone. Nice. Go ahead, Scott. Read this one.
Hello, everyone. Nice job, Scott, on the Maria Callas box. Influenced me to listen to the EMI Maria Callas sing. Okay, I can't pronounce that one.
French opera, but that's in German.
Okay. Oh yes, the LP German pressing. What a voice. Yes, it was a great experience.
You're going to talk about that record in a minute, right, Ben?
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching that. I appreciate it.
And excuse me, UP. Hi all. Hi UP. I'm not sure. I think this is your first time on. Last week we had a lot of people coming on for the first time and commenting. It was wonderful. And let me just put up my friend Carl. Hi Carl. How are you?
Hey, pretty good.
Hi, Carl.
So you didn't travel after all into the depths of you're in old Java now, boss. You stayed in Yogyakarta.
Yeah, it turns out that like one of my daughters was invited to go with another family to another city for 3 days, and then my wife wanted to go visit a volcano with some other people. So I'm here by myself for a couple of hours, several hours, and that's fine with me.
Jack says good morning. So let me just run over a little bit of paperwork while I've got you all on. So please comment and ask lots of questions, which you do, which we love. And as I said last week, we had a lot more people watching, and we really appreciate that and all those fantastic questions. Please like and subscribe. We really like that. Now, we've got quite a few people tonight. Angie, I said we have a guest coming up in a second, a very special guest. A little later on, Angie's going to be on doing a debrief of the Munich show. Hi in Munich. So we've got a lot of things going on tonight, but please jump on when I put the link up. Yeah, don't be shy. Jump on, show some records, or just ask the questions in person, or just come hang out. We don't bite. Well, Scott does, but I don't. Or just come hang out. There are no wrong questions or silly questions. Anything classical goes. For the new live visitors, a very warm welcome to you. We had almost double the live audience last week. It's a good feeling. We're spreading the classical word, and our audience is growing. From our very scientific questions last week, the live comments and the rerun comments, people like our inclusive, kind, free format, free from politics and grapes, just classical music and all that entails, and it'll always be that way.
Mhm.
Okay, so I got another couple of. Thank you, Jack, for Anthony 5K subscribers. That's wonderful. We'll talk about that in a while. Okay, so new releases. I'm going to let Scott start with his very special new releases.
Okay. Well, this last video I did was on this beautiful box set from the Lost Recordings, Maria Callas and Lucia de l'Amor. So it's a beautiful 3 LP box set. You can see it in detail in the video, but I was quite impressed with the restoration of this tape. Beautiful booklet. It's really a book. It's like 42 pages, I think. Lovely. And the records are mastered by Phoenix Mastering. The restoration was done by them from the original tape for the first time ever. And the lacquers were cut by Kevin Gray. And it's a beautiful, beautiful box. Really, it sounded wonderful. I was so engaged with it for the very first time for a full opera. So it was a great experience. I also have another release that I haven't reviewed yet. I haven't even listened to it yet. It is the Ravel Piano Concerto with Michelangelo. So this will be coming up soon on the channel as well. This is
Hey,
cut
Jim,
at,
how are you? We're just doing new releases. We'll be with you in a sec, okay?
this is cut at 45 RPM. Also lacquers cut by Kevin Gray. So very nice outfit. I was extremely impressed with the Lost Recordings.
Good, good. And everybody should watch the video. It's absolutely beautiful video
Thanks.
where are we at? So, Jim, how are you?
I'm okay. Yeah, how are you all?
Wonderful. We've got this very special guest tonight coming up in about 5 or 10 minutes.
Right.
It's 1 in the morning for you.
Yeah, it is.
It's 2 in the morning for him. He's in the Hague Central Time, whatever the hell that is in the middle of the Netherlands. But anyway,
Right. Okay.
every time I invite people on, and they all want to come on, which is great. But I always say, "Are you a night owl?" Yeah, Anthony. Why? Because it's going to be on about 1 in the morning. So I don't know what time it is in Australia, but it's actually, I guess it's lunchtime. Can we get some comments from Australians? Anyway, so I have a couple of new releases I want to talk to you about to do with our here we go. These are SACDs. This is Beneath a Pale Moon from Triptych. We're going to be highlighting that fabulous company tonight with their fabulous engineers and superstar players. This is called Beneath a Pale Moon, and it's basically a recorder quartet. Now, before you go running for the hills, it's very interesting. And of course, Brendan's recordings are to die for. Like if you're going to get an SACD, I mean, there's Brendan and there's Esoteric. I mean, these are the guys that are true superstars. So that's wonderful. And this one is interesting. This is a double bass CD, SACD, also Triptych. You see the Triptych sign there. And they're doing Bottesini, typical bass stuff. But there's also some modern stuff and some beautiful Rachmaninoff and a piece by Smirnov called Into the Light. So, you know, can you get an SACD of double bass music? Well, yeah, you can. Beautifully recorded, beautifully played. Yeah, you can. Something else just came on. Let's have a look. No, okay. And finally, this is from Eudora, that Spanish company I've spoken to you about very highly. Also wonderful SACDs. This is called Mysterium. You see the packaging, both Triptych and Cedille and all these great boutique companies do beautiful packaging. And we'll ask Brendan in a minute just the cost of this kind of stuff because it's not cheap, but they do a beautiful job. This is Spanish piano pieces by Orban and Manuel Martinez Burgos, and Noelia Rodiles is the pianist. So have a look at that. It's called Mysterium. So check those out. You can stream these as well, which is wonderful. So if you don't feel like buying CDs right off, that's fine. Okay. So now put a few more questions up, and then we're going to get to Armin says, that Ravel one sounds amazing on 45 RPM.
Oh, good. Can't wait to hear it.
And Jack says, morning, James.
Morning, Jack.
Scott has an interesting question. Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony is the most unique of his 9 symphonies. It's the Red Dolce Beethoven. It's very interesting. I wrote a review of the Boehm Sixth, and maybe Jim will disagree, but the Beethoven Sixth is by far for me the easiest to play. It kind of right. It goes. Now, if you don't pay attention, if you have a great horn player and a great clarinet player, you're pretty well cooking with gas. Now, you try that with any of the other Beethoven symphonies, and they said you're going to be in the rhubarb because they're all incredibly difficult. What do you think, Jim? Do you think that?
Well, the string parts in Pastoral. I mean, the first time I ever played it was on one afternoon rehearsal on a Saturday evening concert about 45, 50 years ago or something. And I thought, oh, it's Beethoven. It'll be, dun, 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 dun. It's actually, the viola part is quite taxing. It's quite a lot of notes to play.
What, you have some 16th notes in there, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got demi, semi-quavers, or I don't know what Americans call them, sort of 8th or 16th notes, something. But they, the string parts are quite tricky, and it wasn't by any means a walk in the park. So I found the Fifth Symphony actually easier to play, although you got
really?
which of course,
I guess I was my thoughts were for flutes and conducting, which is, with the one little slow down. Okay, off you go. Anyway, and you get the tempo right for the bum 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 bum. Some of them take that tempo ridiculous. Anyway, that's just some pastoral thoughts. Armin says, James, go ahead, read that.
James, several weeks ago, you asked me if the American
Armenian
Philharmonic Orchestra, sorry, it's very small. Right.
Yes.
Are still putting out recordings. I recently found a CD from last year of an Armenian cello concerto conducted by Edward Topshin. Oh, wow. Well, that's good to know because, I hadn't heard anything of the Armenian Phil for years and years. So good for them.
Very interesting question from Paolo Acevedo. Hi, Paolo. I think you're new. Again, we've got a lot of people, and people are very brave in commenting. And again, once we put the link up, if you want to come up, by all means, do that. Amazon's just arrived. Nice. Paolo says, what do you think about the new Boston Symphony Concertmaster? I didn't know they had appointed one. I know they've been auditioning for many, many years. The gentleman who got the job 30 years ago was a good fiddler from the Quebec City Symphony or something, and he was the concertmaster, but he was following Joseph Silverstein's footsteps, which is one of the greatest concertmasters, the dean of American concertmasters. So I don't know who it is, Paolo. If you could put the name up, that would be great. I'm sure they're wonderful. I know that the Philharmonia concertmaster, Hungarians, forget his name, Zolt. I auditioned and didn't get it. And about 4 other great violins did not get it. So they're always looking on these auditions. It's not just can you play the parts perfectly, which is the hard part, but it's does your face fit? Does your sound match the way the Boston Symphony want? Does your sound match the way the music director wants? There's a million things that go into it. That's why when we talk to the principal flute of the LSO next week, we'll talk about auditions. I mean, the second flute job's been going in that orchestra for like 8 years now. They've had 3 or 4, but it's hard. It's hard to fill these jobs. I mean, they're the world's greatest orchestras.
The guy, doesn't the guy come from Los Angeles?
Oh, the new concertmaster.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Let me
I
just.
think he has. I think he's been on. Well, trial with the Boston for quite a while, but I think he was. I think he was Los Angeles.
There are so many fantastic players. Anyway, here's my slide for the upcoming ECML guests. Hey, we're called ECML now. It's so cool. Every 2 weeks. Not next week, the week after is Gareth Davis. He's principal flute of the LSO. He's going to have wonderful stories. He's a lovely, lovely man, one of the world's great flute players, very charming. He was the chairman of the LSO for many years, like Barry Tuckwell and a lot of other famous musicians. Then, and again, in no particular order, we have Steve Hoffman coming on, the legendary mastering engineer. Thomas Bose. Tom is one of the world's great violinists, recording artists, and went to school with Jim and I, great friends with Jim and I. I mentioned last week Dr. Mark Berry, University of London. He's a musicologist and historian, also a fine pianist. He's author on Wagner and Schoenberg. He's what a great musical mind. Cambridge grad, author of the blog Boulesian, which you should all read. It's really good. The great John DeVore, owner and designer of Superior Loudspeakers DeVore Fidelity. Jerome Saba, recording artist and founder of new record company Analog Tone Factory, which is we can talk about. Jerome's an amazing musician. And finally, AB gave us a thumbs up. That's AB Fon, also head of Impact Records. So we've got some great people coming on. Let me just remove this. And now, without further ado, I'm going to add to the stage our great friend, Brendan Heins. Hi, Brendan. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's quite late in the evening here. But now
2 in the morning.
Disturb the neighbors. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock or something here in Utrecht. But no, I'm so happy to be here.
Let me just put up your there it is, triptych.com. So, ladies and gentlemen, Brendan won't say this because he's too modest, but Brendan is an exceptionally brilliant recording engineer and does all the remastering, and he'll talk a little bit about that tonight, I think. I've got some of the CDs and LPs of his work to show you. He's also an incredible photographer, so all the artwork on his records are done by Brendan. So, man, such talent. I mean, most people can't even get one right. Brendan's gets 2 or 3. And also the concepts for the album. And also Brendan uses all these amazing young artists from the Netherlands, and they all get an opportunity to record music. And they're not recording the Handel flute sonatas. They're recording all these wonderful, this amazing, like I just showed you the double bass record, so it's an amazing stuff. So Brendan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and Triptych? And I'm going to put you up big here. And if anybody has any questions, there you go.
There I am.
Handsome face. Go ahead, Brendan.
Yeah, so I'm Brendan Heins. I'm the founder of Triptych, a sort of boutique record company based here in the Netherlands in Utrecht. And originally a photographer and graphic designer by trade, studying audio engineering. I used to work for a different label, different sort of independent artists, and I would always see these same kind of things happening, right? Where people were just doing the Beethovens, the Haydns, the Mozarts, and there's so much just fantastic music out there that I think should really deserve the spotlight as well. Basically, a long story short, that's how Triptych was founded, on this idea of just trying to get a platform going where people can record whatever they want. We choose artists based on who we like to work with rather than what kind of repertoire we'd like to record.
So what formats do you recording? I have all your vinyl, which I love and treasure. In fact, the one I'm going to show tonight is on our dream list, it's so wonderful. Nicholas van Prucke's Schumann collection. Are you going to put this volume 2 on vinyl?
Let's hope so. It's a matter of financing, most of all, because doing good quality vinyl, especially with a place that doesn't mind pressing the vinyl from DSD and DXD masters, is quite hard to find, and also quite expensive. So for a lot of young artists, it's prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
But definitely, and we've got some more vinyl releases coming up actually, pretty soon already. So it's really a matter of time for most of these releases.
Where
But,
did you do your studying?
I studied with someone you may know from the audio industry, Ilko Grim, from Grim Audio. He's a fairly well-known character. He teaches at the Utrecht School of Music and Technology, I think it's called, the Hogeschool voor de Kunsten Utrecht in Dutch.
I love the Dutch accent.
It's yeah.
Well, the famous thing in the Second World War during the war, it was horrible, but the Dutch resistance, which were very powerful and brave, and they had a password. So the word was, I can't, what do you say, Scheveningen? Is that the word?
Scheveningen, yes.
Yeah. And only Dutch people can pronounce it. So they asked the guy, could you say the password? And the German would say Scheveningen. Bang. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead. So how did you start Triptych, and where did the name come from?
Well, how do we start Triptych? Well, I was doing my master's research. It's mainly in psychoacoustics that I did. So how do people perceive sound, and specifically surround sound? That was the focus of my studies. And after all these studies, I wanted to do this sort of big final project for my master's thesis. So I made a big poster, free recording. Who doesn't want a free recording? And I hung it up at the Amsterdam Conservatory.
Oh, yeah.
And to my surprise, only one person responded, which was weird. Any artist would like a free recording, right? That was my thought. Turns out, one specific artist based in Amsterdam back then saw the poster, didn't want anyone else to take it, and just took down the whole poster instead of just writing down my phone number. This artist was Maya Friedman, who I'm now married to for almost 8 years. So she's definitely left an imprint. She suggested to me to record Schnittke, a Russian composer. I hope all of you know. If not, look him up, because amazing composer. We recorded the cello sonata together, and we presented it to a couple of different labels. And basically all of the labels were just not interested. One of the labels saying, well, nobody's listening to Schnittke, so why publish it? That to us was a bit of a weird way of thinking, right? Like, if no one's listening to it, maybe this is an opportunity to show people the music of Schnittke. Like, if no one's listening to it, maybe they just haven't heard of it. So me and two of my friends started this label Triptych to be able to do stuff like this. At first we thought, let's just sort of make one album and put it out there, and the music industry will listen, and we can maybe make some changes go. And it was never the idea to really create a label or something together. It just happened. It just apparently was necessary to have Triptych happen. And right now we're about 100 plus 110 releases further, 10 years along the line.
It's unreal. Tell me about let's get you here we go with the rest of it. If anybody in the gang have a question for Brendan, by all means. How do people approach you, Brendan, like young artists? I mean when Jim and I were younger, if we'd have been, they had people we'd be like, hey, can we record this piece or that piece? How do people come up to you and present pitch? How do they pitch you for recording? And then how does that work?
It can go either of two ways, basically. So either we get asked by artists, hey, can you work? Can we work together? And we have to say no to about 80 or 90% of artists, and it's usually not, you know, a level of the musical level or the musical skill level of the artist. It's usually, does this artist fit with us, even more so than the repertoire. So as I said, we choose the artist that we like to work with, and this artist then gets carte blanche to record whatever they feel like they connect to. Choosing our artist is a very specific thing that we do. And I say we, but it's 100% Maya. She's the artistic driving force behind the label.
Oh, wow. Well, we'll talk about Maya in a little while. I'm hoping to get Maya on as a guest. She's an incredible.
She's fast asleep in the next room, so we can't get her on.
No, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Anyway, no, we'll get Maya on. She'll do her own stuff. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, just a quick question, Brendan. I know that you record using very high resolution DXD, 16 times CD resolution, PCM. It might be helpful. Maybe just explain to the audience just how amazing that type of technology is for digital audio.
Absolutely, yeah. We try to use every bit of technology that we can get our hands on. This is really something because I studied with Ilko Grim from Grim Audio, who's a Dutch audio engineer, researcher, lecturer. He is in the AES EBU. He creates loudness standards. He lobbies for loudness standards as well, and he's this kind of person who's into everything, and he connects everyone together. Every now and then he calls me, is like, hey, do you know these people from the audio world? Get in touch with them because they do interesting things. And the cool thing is he does that for all of his students. Not only that, he's on the board. He's director of the board, or at least on the board of the Maya Friedman Foundation, my wife's foundation, that she set up to enable more young artists to create contemporary music, especially in the cello repertoire. And Ilko's on the board there, and he's just, whatever he does, he fully commits. And so I learned a lot of techniques from him. I got in touch with a lot of interesting high-end audio companies through him, as well as through my internship that I did with a company that you guys may know as well, which is North Star Recording, the current house of Turtle Records, a legendary Dutch label by Bert van der Wolf. Did an internship with him, worked for him for a couple of years, and he's very much into high-end audio, using boutique microphones, cool cables, that kind of stuff. I do have to say, the high-end audio is great and all, but I would personally much rather listen to the crappiest MP3 out there of the best musician rather than some really boring music in high res, because there's a ton of both. Let me just put it like that.
TechRight has a question for you, Brendan. Can you read it?
Yeah, sure. Is there a specific sound quality that your label aims for? And is there a standard other than live sound that you refer to? Any other record labels in regards to sound that you enjoy? Well, the first part of that question is, my research was all about realism. So localization realism is very important to me. That if I do mostly immersive audio and surround sound. So I want to be able to have this kind of this sense of just being there, and literally just being there, right? So the localization has to work. The imaging has to work. The sonic signature of the album has to be exactly the same as though I'm just at a concert of these musicians. So realism is the thing that I go for. And that's what we put all of our research into. All of the money that sort of goes directly into new equipment is all based on how to get a more realistic sound. So we use measurement microphones. We do record in DXD and DSD-256 to get as close as absolutely possible to the original sort of acoustic source. And any other labels that I enjoy listening to? Well, there's a lot of them, especially in the Netherlands, of course, right? The Philips legacy. There's Jared Sachs from Channel Classics. Just
Great.
absolutely amazing recording engineer. You know, we strive to get to even 10% of his level, and he's doing amazing work for the Dutch music industry, but the music industry is in general.
These
as
Mahler
well.
recordings are very, very famous.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Matthew just sent you a nice little compliment.
is uniformly fantastic. Well, thank you. Well, that's my graphic design background. I'm not the only photographer for the artwork. Most of the albums that we do, I shoot the covers for, but because it's carte blanche, artists get free choice.
Did you do that one?
No, I did not. This is a very famous Belgian photographer, Philip Nouts, who did you know, who photographed the Belgian king, and has a unique style, Philip.
Well, we're going to show some of your stuff, and you can maybe talk a little about the recordings. Brendan recorded the most beautiful. Are they Dutch Reformed churches, Brendan? Is that where you record?
Anywhere, basically. We record in churches and in concert halls.
Magnificent. But
there's plenty of them in the Netherlands.
This is beautiful. 12 Fantasias for viola da gamba. And this gentleman, Ralph Russo, is incredibly talented. He's a bass player with the concerto bell, but he plays viola da gamba on the side as a side castle. And he's so wonderful. And Telemann, good friends with Bach. Bach was writing all these masterpieces, and Telemann wasn't making a lot of money. So Telemann did a subscription series in Hamburg, where he lived, and he did 12 Fantasias for flute, which are incredibly difficult to play. Man, they're very hard. And he did these for viola da gamba, and they're wonderful. If I would suggest, if you want to get a kind of a cross section of fantastic triptych recordings, that is probably my favorite. And I'm just going to do one more. I'm not going to hog the limelight. I'm going to get back to Brendan, but when you mind Brendan's comments, this one is superb. This is Jan Peter de Graaf, modern Dutch music called The Forest in April, with Brendan's amazingly talented wife, Maya Friedman, North Netherlands Chamber Orchestra, Symphony Orchestra. And actually it's in a box in there, so I can't really turn around. But I will tell you, you know, sometimes, oh, actually this is triptych reference. Excuse me, Brendan. And when I first heard it, I fell in love with this recording. The recording is exceptional. Brendan, can you tell us a little bit about this recording?
It's quite simple, actually. It was, if you're listening to the stereo mix, which about 96% of our audience does, it's basically the left and right main microphone. That's it.
It's amazing. And Jimmy Galway calls it squeaky gate music. and my wife is totally, Jan, our producer, is totally averse to it. She comes running from the hills, except when Maya's playing. So sometimes I go, Jan, come have a listen to this. And she went, oh, that sounds great. That's really cool. And it's wonderful. So let me make another suggestion, folks, if I can just go solo. That one is really exceptional. The sound is beautiful. The performance is amazing. Now, last one I'm going to show, I want Brendan to talk about this one. This is on our Audiophilia Dream List. Look at that. Isn't that I know Brendan's photography is incredible. This is not Brendan either. I know that. This is Nicholas Van Pucke. Isn't that an incredible photograph?
Beautiful.
It's just, yes, he's very handsome. Yeah, no, it is. It's a beautiful photograph. I'm just teasing. Beautiful. So this is the Schumann Collection Volume 1. He did that Volume 2. You can see the quality of the vinyl is exceptional. So can you tell us how the process for doing, I'm doing a video right now about digital recordings. Can you tell us a little bit about the process of that, Brendan?
Well, the process of that is pretty much the same as the process of all of our other albums. I try to record as minimalistically as possible. So you're just listening to two microphones, listening to the stereo mix. Um, the process of how it works with Nicholas recording wise, just the session itself is completely different from any other artist that I work with. And it's so refreshing because, Nicholas has this amazing sense of musicality. I think it's unrivaled by anyone else that I've ever worked with. And he just goes, right? This guy, we don't do a lot of patching. He just...
Well, look at his directed test recorders, not with you. I know it's on Night Dreamer, but his Beethoven one was wonderful, considering it's the
incredible.
But this Chopin one is miraculous. Now, about Brendan's photography, let's forget the other photography a second. I'm going to put a slide up. Tell us about that photograph, Brendan.
That photograph. Well, this is pretty old.
Oh, I'm laughing here right now.
I inherited this very old camera, really, really, really old, older than any of us, here in this live stream. And basically, this was a test shot. We had a total of 3 shots, just trying out this camera to see if it just still works. And
it works.
Well, it did, yeah, surprisingly. But it sat on the shelf for, I don't know, 8 years, 7 years or something. I think we took it just before we got married. So that's about 8 years right now. And we
Not only a beautiful shot, it's so artistic. And Maya, of course, is a beautiful woman, but it shows, if you don't know that record, folks, I gave that record one of our records of the year. And again, I played it for my wife and she was like, "What? Who is that?" Maya sings. First of all, she composes all the music. She sings like Kate Bush. She plays like Rostropovich. And it's just, you listen to this and it's totally unique music, beautifully recorded, by the way, Brendan, beautifully recorded. And literally, you sit there shaking your head. How can one person be that talented? And then, of course, has a husband who can photograph like that and record like that. So it's a very talented family. Well, I'm telling you, Brendan, that record, is it done quite well? Because it's wonderful. And I know that you've kind of surpassed, what's the famous record with whipped cream and all that stuff with the Herb Albert? Remember the most famous cover? I'm sure Scott's got it in the vault he could show us, right? But that was beautiful, kind of, quote, sexy photograph. I think, Brendan, yours is better. Anyway, enough of the fun stuff. What do you got coming up, Brendan? What kind of recordings coming up?
Well, we have 40 releases this year, which is slightly insane, I have to say. So it's been just growing and growing here at Triptych, and just a lot of artists are getting into this idea of having a carte blanche kind of sort of approach to things. So all of a sudden, we're getting a lot of requests in from a lot of artists. We hired an amazing label manager in January, who's doing a lot of the grunt work, setting up contracts, setting up talks. And she's one of our artists as well, Christian Michael from the Sibylla Medieval Music Ensemble. And she's a bit like Maya in a lot of regards. She's very much herself. She's just an incredible person, very, very lovely, very lively, and people just tend to love her, basically. So it's great. She gets sort of a lot of new artists on the label, just with the personality that she has and the incredible musicality that she has, because she doesn't only make medieval music, she also makes contemporary music. She's a composer herself, like Maya as well. And they're actually going to do some projects together as well that I'm really excited about.
Jack, one of our regulars, is a photography professional and an ex-trumpet player, a trumpet player from Indiana University. And he had a question for you. What kind of camera was that? And the lens?
Well, the lens is built into the camera. It's a very old 6x9, sort of a, what's it called? Well, the sort of the cameras that a lot of news photographers used to take with them, with the bellows lens that you can just fold out of the camera. So it's quite compact. But it shoots 6x9 sheets rather than rolls, which was a little bit difficult to get film for.
Amazing.
But it's a very old camera that's that's gone through 2 world wars, and just it's still in relatively okay condition.
Well,
I
it's
think
not
it's
the
not
instrument.
now.
It's not the instrument. It's the player.
It
Let me
is.
ask you one quick question before we let you go. Let you go to bed. It's coming up to 3 o'clock in the morning there, and you got a recording session tomorrow morning, right?
I have a recording session tomorrow. Yeah,
Oh God.
with Christian Magnusson,
Let me
Icelandic.
ask you a quick question. It's just fascinating. Also for this video that I'm doing, can you just walk us through the process from the recording, just briefly, recording through to the actual vinyl pressing, and what makes this sound like a natural analog recording? Because it doesn't, sometimes there's a bit of digititis, and that there's a new jazz recording out with a pianist named Kalon Cardello. But it's mastered by Bob Ludwig. It doesn't sound digital at all. No artifacts, no ringing, just no frequency shouts. It's just beautiful. And this is the same, magnificent. How do you do it?
Well, there's no special magic sauce, actually. It's all quite simple. We made the digital recording first, and we just tried to record with as little distortions as possible. So that's how we create the digital master. I would say, have a listen to both the vinyl version and the digital version. The digital version, we just apply some filtering to account for these typical vinyl things, right? You don't want to have too much stereo information in very low frequencies. You don't want to have too much sort of ultrasonic frequencies, because they tend to distort on vinyl as well. And that's it, actually. We don't apply any kind of other processing. We just have a very good pressing plant that we work with.
Where do you press it? Because the Dutch pressing plants have always had a bit of a interesting.
Well, there's one in the Netherlands that I don't have the best experience with, to be honest. So I did a lot of mastering for vinyl for a couple of jazz and funk projects and pop, and the results of that place could either be really amazing or just not good, to be honest. And so after a long while, we found this place in a village in Friesland, in sort of the northern part of the country, an interesting part of the country, which a lot of the people who live there actually say it's not really part of the Netherlands. It's their own sort of country. They have their own language even. And so this really small vinyl pressing plant that works 100% on like renewable energy, and they use biodiesel. It's a real hipster place, and we tried it out with what was it? I think it was an album that's not on the label, but we just sent the master to them. We requested a flat cut. We got a flat cut, which is really rare, because usually when you go to these pressing plants, you say, I want a flat cut, and then they get back with something that very noticeably has processing on, which I still don't understand, especially considering how much money you pay for a good pressing. And so we got the first test pressing back, and we couldn't believe it. This like small pressing plant locally here in the Netherlands, doing just amazing stuff. And we actually did a show at High-End Munich a couple of years ago with Nishikawa-san from TechDAS. And he says it's one of the best pressings he's ever heard in his life. And he's quite an expert.
Beautiful. Listen, Brendan, thank you so much for coming on tonight. You and I have been talking for several years now. We love Triptych. I've reviewed them and loved them. And your wife is exceptionally talented, as you are. And we're going to have Maya on. I'll contact Maya directly. We've done you. She's an independent person. She can say yes or no, but we'd love to have her on. And I know it's really late for you. Congratulations on your company. Continued great success. We really enjoyed having you on, and thank you so much for coming on. And please come on again sometime.
I'd love to. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you very much.
Great. Have a great night. Have a good night's sleep, and good luck
Right.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
All the best, Brendan. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Wow, that was great.
That was great. Yeah. Oh no, it's it was great. He's an incredibly talented fellow. I think Angie's going to be coming on any second. While I've got I'm just going to add that photograph again. Isn't that wonderful? Now,
Anthony,
yes.
I was going to ask you if people want to get these. Are they available directly from the company or through
Yes. Triptych.com.
retailers? Or?
Triptych.com is the best way to get them. I had the I'll put it up again. Great idea. Hang on, just give me a second. That's it. www.triptych.com. Easy to find, easy to buy. You can buy the file. You can buy the DSD. You can buy the vinyl. I highly recommend the vinyl. And I'm just going to go through a couple of things here. Anybody know who that is?
I do.
Go ahead. What?
That is Joey K.
Joey Kalanicky. Hey, Joe. Joey sent me that photograph today. Look at that fabulous photograph. What a smiling, happy face. And what he's doing is he's showing, and I should have had it on when Brendan was on. He's showing the Triptych recordings that he purchased. So I think it's on the website. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he's very into this now.
Yeah. And I wanted to say, because we have our beloved Angie coming on any second. Hey, Ange, how are you? How are you, Jan? Thank you, Jan. Okay, so I want to talk about this just briefly before we start talking, Angie, about her wonderful trip to Munich.
I'm good. I hear a lot of voices.
Are you okay? Is everything okay? Can you hear me okay? Are you muted? No?
Okay, I think it's good now.
Okay. So anyway, we have our, as Jack mentioned before, we had our 5,000 subscriber giveaway. I mean, the magazine gets 1 million unique, so these YouTube numbers, but it's been a lot of hard work, and we really feel proud to get to 5,000. So thank you so much for your support. So just if you want to check out the 5,000 sub video on the channel for details to enter, we have 2 amazing, very generous gifts for you for the draw. One is a Riga Planar 3 in black with a Riga Exact cartridge that's installed, and 6 of Angie's vintage classical records. Angie, we cannot tell you how grateful we are for that wonderful donation. I know you don't want to hear it. I know she doesn't want. I'll put that up in a second. And also to Jack Graham, our fabulous Jack of Straight Talk with Jack Graham, for his very generous donation of the Barenboim DG original source, Bruckner 4 with Chicago Symphony. So Jan's giving you a whoop. So anyway, we'll get those to you. We'll ship those to your door. July 1st is the draw. Just check the video, and it's really we're doing it through Instagram, my Instagram, because it's safer. The privacy is better. I can contact people when they win. YouTube is draconian, and you can't contact people through the comments. It's nonsense. So by all means, okay. So now let me just remove. And what I'd like to do now, let's get this off, remove from studio. I'd like to get invite, if anybody wants to come up. Let's put that up. I know Ray's around, and we'll do some comments in a second. Then I want to hear all about it, Ange, all about it. Okay, so let me just do a few comments first while we've got everybody here. Ray says, hello, everyone. Thursday again. Thursday? Oh, yeah. No. In New Zealand. And Yogi Kart.
On London, it's Thursday, yeah.
Here's a question for you. Let's ask the maestro, Scott.
Me?
Scott, can you read that one, please? Yes.
I'm starting to wonder if I'm organizing my vinyl and CDs in a sensible way, currently by record label. Any thoughts? Absolutely. I found that the best way is by record label for classical music. There's just no other way. And once you get used to it, you know pretty much exactly where to go.
Could you excuse me just 1 second, Scott? Tony, Audio Guy 52. He's new, I think. Hi, Tony. How are you? I think he wants to show that the pressing. So this is. Let me just get this up. So this is the pressing. It's triptych. It's the Nicholas Van Fukushima collection. It's on the Audiophily Dream list. It's volume 1. He did a volume 2 that's on SACD, which is great. But this is really remarkable. So musical, powerful. Piano tone is glorious, just glorious.
I'd love to hear
So
that.
before we get to, we'll do a couple more questions. Hi, Jack. How are you?
Good. Thank you. It's good to see
Hey,
you.
Jack.
Good to see you all.
And so, Tony, I hope that works. Oh, Brendan, thanks for having me on. Still in the chat until I fall asleep. Man, Brendan, you're amazing. Just give Maya a nudge and say, Maya, there's a couple of guys in Canada and London and Yogi Kato want to talk to you. Can you get on the camera? It doesn't matter about your makeup. Don't worry about it. She'll be fine. See what happens. UP says, we definitely need more people like Brendan and Maya in this industry. Keep up the great work. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're doing, as Angie calls it, missionary work. Thanks, Brendan. I think they freight everywhere, Ray, and I cannot recommend. I mean, you can just do a potpourri of CDs, but the Forest in April, the one I showed, Maya's Indifference is really fantastic, and that Viola da Gamba one is great, and of course the LPs are wonderful. And of course, Jack says you're going to be ordering soon, right, Jack?
Get out the credit card. I think I'm going to write a book on how to sneak vinyl and CDs into your house without your wife seeing the package.
What was that movie with Nicolas Cage? The Rock. I think it was The Rock.
Yeah.
And he's in the office and he gets his Beatles record. Oh, the Beatles, we mentioned them. He gets his Beatles record and it was $600. And the guy says, how do you do that? Well, I get it sent here because we just divided by 4 for the wife. And he says, why'd you buy vinyl? He says, because they sound better. And that was in The Rock.
Yeah.
And hey, Loki, how are you? The Schumann is amazing, Brendan.
Hey, Loki.
Good job. A lot of Brendan love. Absolutely. Isn't that nice that Brendan's getting and of course when we have Maya on, we can all ooh and ah about Maya's stuff. Maya's a brilliant musician. I mean, to be able to sing like that and then play like that and compose like that, very interesting.
It's so good to see these new players getting some exposure.
Absolutely.
The big labels, you can't even get through the switchboard,
That's right. And Brendan says Volume 2 may come later this year. Volume 3 is being recorded as we speak.
So many good players.
Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. Okay, so now over to the lady of the hour. Let me just put her on full. Angelina, how are you? Thank you.
How are you? Good.
So patient.
First of all,
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, Angie. Thank you, Angie. And who's there with you? Who's that? Is the doggy there with you? Hi,
Stella. She's being ignored.
Isn't she beautiful? What a lovely dog. So, Angie, how are you after your amazing sojourn to the greatest hi-fi show in the world, High-End Audio Munich?
Well, if there's one show to go to, it's the one in Munich. Expona in North America and Munich for the rest of the world, because you see things there that you just don't see on this side of the ocean. Lots of European products. This year, as usual, there was a lot of vinyl turntables, vinyl sales, and a lot of expensive speakers. And it's always nice to see the faces that you only get a chance to see once a year. But high energy, everyone is running around trying to absorb all the rooms because there are so many rooms that they should really add a 4th day. I didn't get a chance to see a third of the show.
Ken Mikalev did a good video today and just showed you basically just talking about the show and like just a huge energy, young demographic, lots of incredible equipment that you never see in North America. great sounding equipment. He said it was absolutely a wonderful show. But they keep talking about being an audio show. It's actually a trade show, which is a lot different than, for example, an audio show where a lot of civilians are. And how did you find that this year, Andrew? Did you find the numbers were huge?
The first day was really busy, but I think that the attendance was down from the previous year. And
Really?
it could be just because it was last year was one of the shows that came out of COVID. So everybody was energetic to go. But I felt that the first day was exceptionally busy, and then it wasn't.
Oh, okay. And how did you feel your room sounded? Did you get the sound you wanted in your room? And what was in your room, in your rooms, I should say?
Okay, there's a separate show because you can't really get any more rooms there because everyone's booked year after year. So there's an extension show in the Marriott Hotel. So we had a room there, and Jacob George from Rhythm Speakers was there. So we showed that with the airtight mono amps, the 211 tube amps, with an Arender Streamer preamplifier. So it was a simple setup. I think it's in the slide that I'm going to show you. And we had good traffic. So the people that have badges on the main show in the MOC were allowed to come to this show free of charge or no badges needed. They could just walk in. So that was good. That was good.
Now, do you have a slideshow like Andrew from Oz?
Yes. Yeah, although I will tell you, there was tons of YouTubers out there. And there's a lot of YouTube videos that they have taken, either just pictures without explanation. So YouTube is full of pictures from the Expona show. I'm sorry, from the Munich show. Mine is just a small one, but I wasn't taking pictures as frequently as I should have. So here we go, and I'll show you this.
Before you start, I will tell you, there's YouTube is kind of blown up, and that's wonderful. There is one I would recommend you watch. Not just you, Angie. This is for the audience.
Yeah,
it's a company called Qualio Audio. They're
I agree. I saw that one.
They're I saw the first one they did from last year or another show, and what it is this very charming gentleman goes around with a super expensive rig, binaural microphones. He's walking around like a spaceman, right? But he knows what to shoot. He knows not to talk. He knows just let the music play. And really, the sound is great. The visuals are great. And it's a 4.5, 5 hour. And if you don't want to hike your legs around and sore feet around that MOC, which is massive, by the way, it's Qualio, Quali. And there's a speaker manufacturer. He's got ulterior motives, which is great because they sound like they're very good speakers. But check out his thing. Now let's go to Angie's.
I agree. I saw that and it was quite good.
Very good.
So let's see if we can do this.
Down a
I'll
bit
just
more.
let it go. So, right. That didn't work.
Can you get that a little bit closer? And now bring your screen, the laptop screen down. That's fine. Go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so this was actually shown last year, except they had a bigger system. This was a less expensive one. This was only $880,000. The one they showed last year, which had multiple inserts of amplifiers, was over $1 million.
Oh my God!
Made in China. This is the Vitas. Anyway, I'll just let you see it. This is huge. So this is just the side picture of it, and the front picture is going to follow after this.
Are they your
Of course,
speakers?
the avant-gardes.
Yeah, avant-garde, beautiful.
Yeah. There's the front view.
What do they retail for, Ange?
They start at $35,000 and go up to this, which this starts at about $350 and goes up to about $600.
Oh, they're beautiful. Oh yeah.
That's I was attracted to that. It's a new guy who's been working on tables. There's another product there. A lot of Italian companies there. That's the second table.
Who makes that, Ange?
And they've been working on that for like 7 years. So I was quite impressed with the quality of the table. So lots of turntables. Look at this one.
God.
This is about 100 grand. Plus you need a tone arm. The tone arm there is about 30, just to show you
Jeez.
a lot of the craziness. And that's the system it was hooked up to.
Wow.
Broadband
Yes, I
is
heard
the
those
main
speakers
speaker.
with that extra subwoofer. They sounded pretty amazing.
Yeah. I'll just slide that. Now that's the side picture you saw. This is the front. This takes the size of a ballroom. It's pretty crazy.
Who the hell's
Wow.
buying that? Jeez. Rich people.
This I took because of it's the same type of wideband drivers that Rhythm
Rhythm.
uses. And
Yeah,
of
that's
course,
right.
they're made in
Cool.
Germany.
Voxative, they make very good speakers.
Now here's heavy iron. This is all the big Boulder. This is their top of the line mono amps.
Heavy
Which they
iron,
don't
I like
take
that,
out.
Ange.
Yeah, pardon?
I like that heavy iron.
Yeah. That's our new mezzo.
Ray said I'd have to live in
And
those.
that's the little guy coming out. You'll see a close-up version. So that's the
Oh.
same speaker in white. And that's called the Calibri, which will cater to people can't quite go into avant-garde level. There's that big table again, the side view of it. There's a
Alan
pendulum
says-
there.
Alan says on one of the Munich videos he saw, a guy mentioned Angie will be the distributor for a new high-end product, I think from Germany. Congrats, Angie. What one's that, Ange?
That's the rhythm room that we had.
Oh, okay.
So this was the airtight 2211 tube amps. That's
Oh,
one of the
beautiful, those
speakers.
amps.
That's the Arender Streamer preamp, which is awesome. This is the new Western Electric tube amplifier, which is a company that's been around forever. They specialize in the manufacturing of tubes. So now they're coming back to bringing their own electronics. That's just a mono amp. Here's more tube gear and horns, because I'm into horns. Western Electric is going to introduce something affordable. So we're looking at them coming out with a power amp and a preamp around the 5K. That's Audio Research, their new top line with the new 170 tubes. That's Western Electric famous 300B tube amp for single-ended amplifiers,
God, beautiful. But
meaning
expensive.
lower wattage amps.
Oh, there's
That's
the
the
one.
new Watt-X.
Yeah.
That's the new Watt-X one-piece unit,
Yeah, I spoke about that last
which
week.
is going to be affordable. It's only going to be 40 grand US.
By two.
Scott's got one on order, right, Scott?
This tube is about that big, and it's a tube they manufacture for themselves only for that specific big amp. There's that turntable again.
Wow.
MBL, which Anthony, you know MBL.
Love MBL. The MBL rooms always sound incredible. Those speakers,
Yeah,
freaking speakers, amazing.
there's some more heavy iron.
Yeah. Was it Constellation or something? Or
I think it is.
No, I think that was
No?
Solution.
oh,
Yeah.
And of course the Rockport speakers.
oh my God,
Yeah,
incredible.
with the HRS stand that I love.
Remember the HRS sound test we did, and boy, they're remarkable stands.
It
HRS
does make a difference.
They
That's kind of
certainly
what
did.
the hallway looks like in Munich, but times that by 20. That's that tube I said that was about that big. It's actually a military tube. That's what their preamp's going to look like.
Wow.
And that's the Three Musketeers.
Oh,
Jody, Adrian.
oh, Jody was with you,
Yeah, yeah.
and Adrian. Oh, isn't
And
that wonderful?
this is my new guy, Matthew. Patrick does our digital stuff.
Oh yeah, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Wow, did they have a good time? I bet they did.
Oh yeah. Well, we had to eat every night, so we went to nice places. There's a
course.
picture of one coming up. There it is.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Munich is such a beautiful
Beautiful.
city. It's such a
Yeah.
great, it's clean. It's got great art, culture. The orchestras are fantastic. Great
It's
food. The
super.
Paulana beer is amazing.
And
Jan just
more here.
oh, we love that Paulana beer late at night, eh, Jan? It was so
Mhm.
much fun. So you had a good
Again,
time
that's
with the lunch. It was good. And,
those are the audio research and their monoblocks. Yeah. So
Fab-
these are the small Calibri that I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Tad, a very good speaker. This it's been
yeah,
around
I
for a
keep
long
getting
time.
asked by them if I could review them. It's supposed to be very good.
How do you like that one?
Yeah, that looks interesting.
Again, a lot of horn speakers. I must have seen at least a dozen
Remember your bow
companies
horns,
using
Angie?
horn.
Angie, do you remember your bow horns? They were lovely.
Oh yeah, do you remember the shape of them?
Yeah, oh, I love those speakers. Remember?
Made in
Upstairs?
England. Yeah, I brought them in from England. Clean, simple, but extraordinary. That's the room, and of course we know the Wilson XVSs.
Hmm.
Scott says fascination. Just write the check.
Oh,
And Andrew, see, Andrew, we don't always need you for your presentations. We have Angie doing a presentation of her own.
I learned from Andrew.
Now,
Now this is exciting. It's the first phase Mation integrated amplifier using 300 Bs. That's the end. So that's the group there. Yeah.
Well, Angie, that's a wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Stick around for a little bit. We got a few things to do. That was great, Angie. Thank you so much. There's a lot of work you did for us, and I know that you came in and when you got home, you must have been exhausted.
Exhausted. 5 shows in 5 months.
That's right. Yeah. Is there another one coming up, or is that it for a bit?
Well, there's another show coming up, but I'm not sure. There's a dealer support show I'm supposed to do June 1st.
Angie, there's a question for you. Can you read that?
Did DCS have any new to show? No. They were showing their Lena, which is a big hit. It's their entry level, but it's gone through the moon on what it can do. But there is something coming late fall.
Oh.
And it's not going to be down, it's going to be way up there. So I would expect, you should expect a new reference of some kind.
Wow.
And then Alan says, wonderful presentation. Thanks, Angie. Of course, Angie. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And Andrew,
Wish I took more pictures.
my original source records are by Beethoven 6. I hope you like it. Concerto for Orchestra and Brooklyn 4. Well, the Brooklyn 4, fabulous, Jack gave us as a gift for our Troy. And
Beethoven, great.
What did you get at? What did you get, Jack? You get the 6th?
Yeah, I mean the Beethoven is just awesome.
Isn't it wonderful? Wonderful.
It sounds. It's one of the best, I think.
Okay, we don't have tons of time. I'm going to go to Scott. Scott, we're going to go to the vault, and then Jim. Jim, you have a little bit of a throwdown, I think. So we'll start with the great Scott.
Great Scott.
Okay, my friend, you're on.
Okay. We were going to talk about Bartok, right?
No, we're gonna do the vault first, and if we have time, we'll.
Okay. Well, I just went into the vault and I just pulled a box out, and this is what was in it. So maybe you guys probably know more about some of this stuff than even I do. But this is an organ record from EMI, King of Instruments. It's kind of a compilation, I guess, but it has all the major European organs on there. I pulled a couple of these Deutsche Grammophon records.
That's a beautiful record. That's Karl-Heinz Zoller playing the flute quartets. It's beautiful. That's a Deutsche Grammophon chamber music record that's magnificent. Keep a hold of that. Or send it to a friend.
No.
Did you actually hear that? No, like straight out, and with a bitterness in his voice.
But maybe I can donate a few of these to the cause, though.
No, see, you're not altruistic like Angie and Jack. They're altruistic. Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Okay. Any comments about this?
Yeah, it'll be beautifully played, but the recording will be weird.
Yeah.
Although it's a little earlier, so he might not have.
What about this version of Symphony Number 8?
It's okay. It's okay. It's nothing
Yeah.
special.
I've never been crazy about these. That's why I'm not really big on the new series, but
That would be an ad hoc recording, Pinky, with the LA Phil. It'll be very good. But these George Grammophone engineers, sometimes it was good and sometimes it was not good. Not the chamber music recordings, though. Much easier to record and much more success.
Yeah, yeah. So here's some Londons that I came across in my collection.
Lovely piece.
Journey Number 1, Cortege. This is a mono. I think it's quite rare, actually.
It's weird. That's not repertoire he did very often.
This is one of the few angels that I kept around.
Well, you got two of the greatest players of all time, and a great.
That's why I did.
Galliera conducting.
That's a nice record. Some Londons.
Oh, that old thing. I've got that. Mine cost me $100 though. How much did that one cost you, Scott? I bet $2.
$1.
Oh, bugger off.
I bet you don't have this Mercury. Bach on the Biggest.
Great title.
Jim, take him down. He's getting so cocky. It's ridiculous.
Well,
That's at the Atlantic City Convention Hall organ, the largest organ in the world.
Alan says, I have that DG4 Mozart flute. It's a tulip label. Yeah, that's probably very good.
This was a nice find. Of course, I have the speaker's corner, but
I'm amazed at how good these covers look. I mean,
yeah, I don't pick them up unless the cover looks good.
Scott he is fastidious about covers. His covers are incredible.
One of the few Columbias that I kept around too, Sirkin.
Make sure you say you like that, because Beth will come back and box your ears if you don't like her teachers. Oh, beautiful.
The magic flute.
Just the highlights though, right?
Yeah. What else?
oh,
Nice hair, Richard.
Joan?
That's the National Philharmonic where Jim's played a lot. That's the recording orchestra that London used for London Records and Decca.
Yeah, this is a very good record. This is Kenneth Wilkinson.
And the spine is crucial too. Absolutely.
This is pretty. This is a box set.
Okay. Oh yeah.
oh,
Talking about, it's kind of a demo record, I guess. This was an old Harry Pearson favorite.
Yeah, that's a famous record. It's very good. It always duked it out with the LSO EMI Previn. They're both wonderful. You can take your choice. I think I've not heard it on the London. I would probably choose the Decca. If I know there's no difference, but there is.
No, there isn't.
Oh, there is.
All right, we'll have to have an episode on
Do
that.
the pressing. If it's a blue back, no, for sure. But the white back sometimes.
This is an unusual one that is quite good, actually. Unusual repertoire.
Famous conductor, lovely man. The Dallas Symphony loved him. He died in a plane crash, a private plane crash.
yeah.
A couple of Harmonie Mundi.
Beautiful.
Not the famous ones, but
Oh, nice.
yeah. Those were
Two more, then we're going to go to Jim.
Okay. Well, this is
Oh yeah.
this is like a third or fourth.
Oh, that old thing? No.
That's yeah. It's
And now your last one. Here we go.
my best. Well, I don't know. It's not the best one, but
No, but lovely, famous performance.
famous.
Okay, Jim,
Let's
you're
see.
on.
Okay.
Okay, throwdown time.
Right.
Okay, well, we're going to start with a melodia that I found, which
Make sure we
is
see the whole thing. That's it. No.
Mikhail Glinka, which
Mm.
is Evgeny Svetlanov with the USSR State Symphony. And they do Spanish Overture by Glinka, which I don't know, Recollections of a Summer Night in Madrid, Kamarinskaya Fantasy for Orchestra on themes of wedding and dance songs, and obviously Ruslan Ludmilla, but also it's got the original Melodia label.
Nice. How does it sound, Jim? How does it sound?
It's nice. It's very, there's a few little pops on one of the sides, but it's really nice. And the music is fabulous. You know, you don't find that, and I just love the cover. I mean, that picture of Glinka on his sofa.
And it's divine.
And then another great one, because I thought it is the Fine Arts Bela Bartok String Quartet 1 and 2.
Fabulous.
Which is, this is a Saga LP. And then a really interesting thing here. Now, we were talking about Sir Eugene Goossens a few weeks ago.
Right.
Well, this is a really weird record because it's Goossens conducting Mendelssohn's Reformation Symphony.
Huh.
And then GilEls with the Soviet state, Kirill Kondrashin, doing the Piano Concerto No. 1.
That is weird.
Of Mendelssohn. I mean, I've never seen such a weird combination. And
Where did you get that?
Label. Do you want to see the actual label?
Yeah. Where did you get it from, Jim?
I got it from my little record store in ARC.
Wow. Let me ask you, Scott, do you have that one?
No, I never have any of the ones that Jim has. He's got the pipeline there.
And then this is another one, Dino Lipati doing Chopin Waltz's HMV Treasury. It's really nice condition record. And I've never seen Brown HMV label. Scott, do you know more about these?
I've seen one that color, yeah. I don't remember why, if it's from a particular series or what, but
it says HMV Treasury, so
yeah, that might be why.
But presumably it's in stereo, so it must be in early 60s.
Yeah.
And then this is a little wild card thing I found. Beautiful condition. Nicholas Rosa conducting the Royal Philharmonic in his film music.
What label is that?
That is
Loretta?
Polydor.
Oh,
wow.
Interesting.
Again, it's just got a Polydor label. There we are. It's the old 70s Polydor label.
Yeah. Huh.
And finally, talking of the devil, I've got the same thing I was going to show you.
Oh boy!
And I'm going to get one better. I've got Noel Rawthorne on the same one, Liverpool Cathedral organ.
Oh, nice.
With Noel. I mean, an old friend of mine, Noel.
You know what? Now that you got that, look at Scott. All of a sudden, he got very quiet in Miami. He's got very quiet in Miami. Listen, guys, I think we're going to have to dodge. We got a couple minutes, so I want to talk to Jack for a little bit, and of course Carl. We don't have. I've got quite a few comments from the Macadamia Gallery, the Royal Circle, to talk about, and then we'll leave the bar talk for next week. That'll be your thing to do for next week for a building and library. Any recordings by bar talk, and we had quite a few tonight, but.
Okay.
But we'll do those next week. Let me just put up a few questions first because it concerns all of you. This one's for Scott. You can read that, Scott?
No. He said, Scott, have you listened to the Callas Carmen yet? We had a little discussion in my comment section to the Callas video about the Carmen recording on EMI Angel. So, no, I haven't heard it yet, but from what you said, I'm sure I'm going to love it with their characterization of that character.
Another one for you, Scott.
New Original Source series is very good, Scott. Give them a try. I have tried one. I just haven't gotten to my next title. So yeah, I will for sure.
James, UP says, how does that sound, James? Which one are you talking about, UP? Are you talking about the Liverpool organ, or Jim had like 10 great records? Maybe write down which one you're after. And Andrew said he found 4 Loretta Bach symphonies at the tip.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the things I'm doing for the draw for the Rega table and the Deutsche Grammophon record is you have to put down just enter me, so it's simple, no hoops, no jumping around, pay the shipping and everything, so there's no nonsense. But I want to know what their favorite classical record is, and some of the records I'm getting are just fascinating, just wonderful. And I don't want to comment and like everything because it sounds like, oh, I like you, I'm going to put you down, because it's going to be fair. By the way, he's just, our guy, one of our team members, brilliant. He buys equipment all the time. He just bought a new amplifier, right? What he says on Twitter, he says, "Don't tell my wife." But he says, "Can we try for the turntable?" He's got like 10 turntables. I said, "No, nobody from Audiophily can apply for that draw. Nobody." You got that, Jim? You got that?
No, I'm waiting for someone to go for the toaster.
Yeah, the toaster.
I hoovered the crumbs out of the bottom, so it's in good nick, good condition.
And back to Melodia, Jim. Read that one from Andrew.
There was a Melodia outlet in Sydney, which was a cover for the KGB. Yeah,
doesn't surprise me. So, Jack, what have you been up to? We got a couple minutes. What's been going on?
Yeah, it's been crazy busy. I do in addition to the travel I do, because I'm near the Smoky Mountains. There's a lot of tourists here, so I do a lot of one-on-one photography days in the park with clients from all over the place that come in. So I had about 2 of those this week, and I tried to get to a local record store this weekend and didn't make it, but I think I'll make it this weekend. We're going to get rain, so I don't know how I stay so busy, but Scott, I don't know how you have time to listen to all these records. I don't know how you do it. And you're calm. I mean, there's some people on YouTube that, they're on making videos I'm trying to make a video. I think I'll do one tomorrow. I haven't even had time to do that, but it's
I just do it
a video needs a script, it needs a shot selection, it needs thought, it needs care, or it could just be done like a mere bagatelle. So if you take your time and do them and thoughtful, people will come back. I can't believe my Deutsche Grammophon chamber music record got 6,000 views. It's great. It's insane.
I think I'm going to do a video on things that annoy me about record stores.
That'd be good.
Like when they put price stickers on the label instead of.
Oh no!
Joey wants the toaster.
Angie, I actually own that turntable with that cartridge. I upgraded the sub platter, and I own 2 turntables. That's one of them. And for anybody that's listening that can enter, it's a great turntable. It's a great value.
Well,
I only wish Riga would put a ground cable on their turntables.
I've been very lucky with Riga grounds.
I do too, but I've heard.
Okay, let me go finally to Carl, because poor Carl was supposed to be away this week, and then maybe on Wi-Fi in the Airbnb or the hotel. Carl, have you hadn't chatted without doing under the bar talk, which I really appreciate? We'll do that next week. We'll have a lot of time this week. Have you been doing anything else besides drinking?
Well, I had prepared this because I knew that he would be on there, and you showed this already.
Oh, what do you think of that?
Oh, I had this when it first came out. You somehow arranged that I could download the digital for it at very high resolution, and I dug it up, and it's still on my hard drive. But it's also available for streaming. He's he didn't mention this, but some of his works are available on the standard streaming services at high resolution. I believe this one is at 2496. It's amazingly, I love that piece. So I thought I'd mention that to go along with what you did earlier.
It's a magnificent CD. Buy it on SACD. Buy it. Get the file, or stream it. It's amazing.
Remember, as I was trying to have him say more about, he recorded this at 16 times CD quality. I mean resolution. So I mean he has it, which is used not to give to us, but to then move it down to a 2496 for consumption and so on. But you have such control over the file once you have it at that amazing resolution, and he does that sort of thing. So it's different from DSD, by the way. But anyways, I won't go into it. But
no, really, the DXD is different than DSD.
It's PCM. It is the we hear things like 1644, 2496. This is the actual thing here is 32/352 kilohertz. So it's 16 times CD when he first records it with those two microphones. And I think that really is extraordinary. It leads to extraordinary results.
And the churches he records in are absolutely beautiful.
What's interesting about this also, it seems like the photographer managed to just make him look like he's from the Baroque era. When you see modern photographs of this fellow, he doesn't look like this. It's kind of funny.
Amazing. Unbelievable. Well, folks, Carl, thank you so much. I'm sorry it wasn't a little bit long. Next week we'll have and next week we'll have a lot more guests. And we have a guest. We have two special guests tonight. Very special guests. Three. Jack's on as well. So, folks, first of all, thank you so much for your comments. They were wonderful, as usual. Very informative and probing, inquisitive. We love them. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the channel. Not that's a big deal, but it's nice. Make sure you go to Scott's The Pressing Matters, I think my favorite YouTube channel, and watch Scott's video on the Maria Callas opera. It's absolutely beautifully done. It's so refined, and Scott has so many wonderful ideas about the sound. Definitely have a listen. And I checked the price, Scott. It was 270 euros, I think. It's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap. And UP says a string quartet series would be great, Anthony. Well, we're going to be talking next week about the Bartok. I'm sure the string quartets will make their presence known. But we have it's classical music. We've got the world's our lobster, as Arthur Onminder says. the world's our oyster. So we've got all sorts of things. So Alan, so Joey says, great show. Thank you, Joey. And thank you, Alan. It's such and James. Did you give our best to your son for the Calidor string quartet? That's another one to stream, the Calidor string quartet. Wonderful. You're very welcome, Alan. So you get the great deal, Andrew. You can watch the rerun straight away after the show. So thank you very much, Scott. Fabulous co-host as usual. Lots of fun. Teasing about the vault. I'm just viciously jealous about the vault. That's all it is. We love the vault. Jim, great records. Carl will get you streaming Bartok string quartets and great Bartok stuff, and we'll hear all about it next time. Jack, lovely to see you again. It's just nice to see that smiling face.
Thank you, Jack.
Scott, the pressure's on for next week now. Now you're going to be hard to outdo those records.
Oh, yes, right, I know. And a very special thank you, first of all, to Brendan Heins. Brendan's probably finally in bed. I mean, I can't believe it. It's now, God knows what time it is. He's probably get up to do that recording. But it's just to find out what recording it is and see how it sounds. I'm sure it'll be amazing.
Yep.
And finally, to my great friend, Angie. Thank you so much, Angie, again, and Jack, for your kindness and your generosity. We really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Okay, guys. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's it. It's 90 minutes exactly. If you guys stick around for a second, just say goodbye. And thank you, folks. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.